Okay, now you can hear me. All right. I'm pretty sure you can hear me okay right now. Put into the chat, let me know. Good afternoon, everyone. How are you doing? It is the 16th of October. It is Thursday, the 16th of October. We're still on our series talking about gold. I think what I'll do is I will break it up into two topics a week. I kind of get bored um, trying to go through one topic per week. We can probably get through two in a week. So I'll try that out next week for different topics. All right. If you're on the session, do drop a message like, "Hi, Jimmy, how you doing?" Yep. If you're on the session, do drop a message and say hi. Let me know that you're on. Um, Let me know that you're here. And if you're new to the session, definitely do drop a message and say hi. Let us know where you're joining us from. Right? Good morning, Rajat. How are you doing? Hope you're well. Okay. So this is something new that we've been doing. Just a quick recap. I have to do this for a while because we're doing this new. Soon we will stop talking about it or stop. I'll stop repeating it. Right. But this is what we're doing every. I think now I'll do two topics a week. Right, so at 2:30 GMT, 2:30 p.m. GMT plus 8, I will go live, talk about a topic, and we'll decide on two topics for a week. Talk about a topic for 30 minutes. This week has been about gold. And then after that, at 3 p.m. GMT plus 8, we will switch over to a members only session, members only live analysis session, where we'll go through the major currency pairs and talk about possible trade setups on the major currency pairs. And the funny thing was, I think we did the session on Monday, and someone left a comment and said, "You should do daily analysis." Yeah, we do. You just have to click on that button, that join button there. I think it's $9, $9 a month. Right? It's nothing at all. It's not something to make big money on. It's just that I want people who are serious and going to make use of it to join the session. Okay. So we've been doing that for many, many years already. And hey, Moses, how are you doing? Hope you're well. Welcome from Zambia. Good to have you with us. Okay, so on Monday we talked about gold. Why has gold been pushing up that way, right? Actually, I had that one instead. Yeah, we had gold and why it's been pushing right up all the way. We talked about the fundamentals, the macro behind it, and all that kind of stuff. And then on Tuesday, we talk about the technical levels. That's why we have all these lines here on the gold chart, talking about where could it get to. On Wednesday, I was super busy, so I didn't do a session, which was yesterday. Which we were going to talk about possible reversals, which was what we highlighted here as a possible reversal back down. We touched on that on Tuesday, but more on that was supposed to be more on that yesterday. Didn't do that, so we'll do it today. And also for today, we'll talk about what kind of trades should you be looking for when you're trading gold. Um, the good thing, and the bad thing, but mostly good, is like what Jimmy has said, right? Jimmy has said, can't 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 really. I got one tiny little screen here that I'm looking at. Can't really go wrong with gold at the moment. Yeah, I entirely agree. So that's why I say it's a good thing. Why is it a bad thing as well? Is because it makes everyone look like they're superheroes, getting into all kinds of trades and getting away with it. Sometimes I know some people who are trading high leverage and taking advantage of high leverage, thinking that gold is just going to keep shooting up and they're safe. Be careful of that. And also, we know about people who are just randomly entering buy trades just because they think the trend's going to continue. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about what to do now with the trend, right? What to do for a possible reversal. How to look out for possible reversal. We'll talk about what to look out for when you're scalping and when you're doing swing trades. 4 things. I've got about 20 minutes left to go before we swing into the other side. And you know what I'll do? I'll compile everything together. Ideally, I'll compile everything together and launch it as one video as well. So it feels like too much work for me right now. I'm a super lazy kind of person, right? So I like spending my days playing golf and having meetings and having coffees and not having $60 burgers, but enjoying my sake and drinks. So sometimes, I don't want to do too much work. Who wants to do too much work? No one wants to do too much work. Okay, enough rambling. Good morning, Angel Case. How are you doing? Good to see you on the session. I just realized I shouted there. Okay, so let's talk about gold in the trend following scenario first. Okay, on you probably already noticed this, and if you haven't, get the mailing list. Where we have a Discord channel, we'll send that out as well. But yesterday, was it just yesterday? I was sending out that gold had reached what 4,200 level, right? Which is this line here. It had reached the 4,200 level, and dare I say 42.35 next, right? And just before this session, I was updating and saying that it didn't like that 42.40 level, and then it's showing a bit of a push back. So that's what we're seeing here on gold. Let's talk about a trending scenario. Okay, so a quick recap from Tuesday was that you can see a little bit of a channel here, right? Gold trading within a channel, testing the top, testing the bottom, top, a bit of the top here, bottom down, even down here, and then to the top. The initial thought was that on Tuesday, the 14th of October, we were thinking that maybe because it's outside of the channel, and then on Tuesday, when you look at the dollar index here, right, that's about Tuesday, it was showing some push to the upside. So if the dollar index was going to push and break to the upside, then we could have seen a little bit of a retrace on gold. Was at first thinking that it would retrace down to this 38. Oh, not thinking, I was hoping, all right, in the rare chance that it'll come down to that 38 or 35 level, sit across and push back up. Quite similar to what happened. I think it's on a weekly time frame. I saw that. Quite similar to what happened here, where you had a big pop up, it retraced down, it set across, and then it continued higher. All right, so that's what we were thinking of at first. So take that away for now. Now, the idea when you look at gold, this is on the daily time frame. If you want it on the H1 or possibly H4, you have to join the membership. We talk about it every day, right? Daily updates on gold. But the idea looking at gold here on the daily time frame, right? It's broken all the levels, right? 4,100 was there, clean through. 4,000 was there, clean, well, kind of hesitated a bit. So now when you have your fib extension, just looking at the target levels, you've got 4,200 here. And I consider it as a bit of an area where you're looking at 42.40 that point. 42.40 there. All right, so this whole thing here is the resistance area. Then if it breaks this point, you're looking at next round number, and then the next round number at 4,500. I think couple of weeks ago they were talking about saying, now with it breaking 3,500, this was a couple of weeks ago, the target was 4,900 by the end of the year. Still, I'll take that with a pinch of salt, but I'm just, let me see, it's all working fine. Okay, so what you're looking for when you're looking on a trending scenario, okay? Two things that if you're looking at it on a daily time frame, if you're looking at it as a bit of a set and forget. Firstly, your stop loss might be a little bit wider. Okay, your stop loss might be a little bit wider. This is in the trending scenario, swing trade, swing setups. Doesn't make sense to talk about scalps. Okay, in the trending scenario of the swing setups, first thing you probably have to deal with is that your stop loss would be a little bit wider. Okay, why I say that is because if, and this is on swing, you see it break above 42.40. Ideally what you're looking at is it goes that way. You're thinking about 2% maximum of 2% on that, and then you're not making that, you're not aiming for that, but you're aiming for that point there. So you're looking at a 2 to 4%, right? A 2% risk, a 4% reward. Still 1:2 to the upside, but you're gonna have to take a little bit of a wider stop, which means that when you're doing this, your size should be smaller. Okay, this is just off the top of my head. It might not make sense in grammar, and Grammarly doesn't work here. But that's just what I'm trying to tell you, right? If you're trending to the upside, you're looking for it to break. You want it to break above that 42.40 level. Your stop loss is going to be wider. Could it be 1.5? Yeah, about there. 1.5 to 2 there's no fixed number, right? But then your target level is that 4%. It could even be down to this point, which is 3.55, which is the nice round number here at 4,400. That's the kind of trade setup to look at if you're looking at a swing trade. A trending swing trade. Does that kind of make sense? And then the third thing, oh, by the way, if you're on the session, do remember to click on that thumbs up button. That helps massively. Like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click that join button to be a member as an elite navigator. That helps massively as well. And then also put it into the chat. I'll keep asking you, does it make sense? Does it make sense? Just put it into the chat. Just so I know, I'm not just rambling away and you guys are all completely lost. Okay, make it a little bit interactive. And then the third thing that you would also look out for is that when you're looking at trending swing setups, you're waiting a little bit more, right? You're waiting a little bit more because it's sitting there now. It might bounce around and might push back in. You're waiting a little bit more for it to push back up. That's what we're looking at when you're talking about a trending scenario, following the trend to the upside. What I think on the daily time frame would be the the better setup to be looking for is that gold sits across and then pushes up that way. Okay, even better is that it comes back into the channel or bounces off the channel and pushes up that way. Right? If this is the case, if it does this, then you can take a bit of advantage there and be looking at 4,200. All right, I wouldn't be too crazy yet. Right? So you want 4,200. You'd be looking at a still maybe a 1.5, and then you still be looking at that point of almost a 5% to the upside. You're looking at that kind of bounce, right? A bounce and push back up that way. Or no man. Or it sits across and then it breaks to the upside. That's in a trending scenario for what we're looking at. Yeah? Make sense? How high can it go? That's really a guess. That's really a random. I would like to say it's a random guess. I was having that conversation, that chat conversation with someone else, where the thought, they were like, oh, when is it going to come back in by? When is it? How is it going to come back in? And I just thought, gold is only going to come back in. Well, gold is pushing out now because countries are buying. Well, central banks from all the other major central banks from all the other major countries are buying. In US, it's going to cut rates, so that's going to push, or has been trying to talk to cut rates, so that's going to push gold to the upside. And then also, the dollar, the not dollar, the conflict, the global conflict between Israel and Gaza is almost done. It's not done yet. There's still threats flying around. Ukraine, Russia is still there. All around the world, there's still some conflicts, so there is a move towards reserve. The big point of when gold could um, turn back in like that, right? Go from 4,200 down to 38, 35 would be, I would say, or would start turning back in, would be when the dollar starts showing some strength, some performance, some sustainable performance, right? Less uncertainty and more performance, you see it push back in. The thing that so that's trending done, right? So the thing that I want to, the way I look at it, the way I trade is this can happen, right? This drop from 4,200 down to 38.35 or 38.50 could happen very easily like that, right? I mean, we were saying that, okay, I think that, dollar has to do better for it to retrace. But if you take this and you just drag it back up. So this happened on April, right? April 21st to 15th of May, gold dropped almost 10%. And if you look at that, that's almost 10%. From where it is now, gold could drop almost 10%, right? And then after that, sit across and push right up and form a new high over again. So it's not this point where you start selling, right? So this is the point where you are going to be looking at it and you're going to be thinking here is US economy data, economic data. You'll be thinking of conflict, let's go, conflict resolution, right? You'll be thinking of trade war peace. I don't know what's the word, peace or treaty. Sorry, yeah. Right, you want to see things like this happen here during, if it comes back in during this period, then you start thinking, okay, I need to see one, two, or three, or best a combination of all these things happening. That's dragging gold down from 4,200 down to that 3850 level. If it breaks that 3850, if it breaks this channel, then this is the trading scenario to the downside. So this is the reason, and this is the trade. All right. Many of you are going to be tempted, if this sits across, right? So if, for example, if for example gold sits across right now and pushes back down, or starts to push back down, many of you are going to be tempted to start thinking that if you do that, 4160, you can have a stop loss of like a tight stop loss of 1.5% there, and then you could have a massive take profit at almost 8% to the downside. It's going to be painful. I would say that it's going to be painful, right? Because if we just took this scenario here, I'll zoom in a little bit more just to show you. Right, if we just took this scenario here and you see how dollar rejected that 4,000 level, right? It pushed past 4,000, it tried to come back in. You think it could come down to that level, the bottom of the channel here, you have hit a stop loss of 1.5 very quickly. All right, and then after that, we do that again. Any point here, as it got to that 3,600 level, you think of a rejection. It's going to get hit by stop loss almost straight away. Possible break of the channel, didn't work. This one would have made you some money to the downside. All right. And what other scenarios we have? This one might have done, you wouldn't get in there, or might have done something for you there. All right. So you see that you see that if you did try and catch a reversal, for no reason other than it's breaking down from a level, you can get into a world of pain before it pays off. Right? Losing 1.5 over and over and over again and hitting one medium-sized profit is not going to be enough. So that's why I would say, okay, let it do what it does. If it's going to do that, let it do what it does. We're only going to make sure that this has happened so it's sustainable to the downside. Then you look for that to break, and then you got the downside move. Then it makes sense because you got the fundamental, the macro behind it, you have the sustainability behind it, and then it breaks levels, channels, and horizontal support levels to the downside. Then it starts to make a lot more sense. Even if you just took it down there, right? 1.5, out there, 1.5 to almost 5% to the downside. I rambled on quite a little bit. I hope that makes sense. So, what I'm looking at here is, and this is a low chance, right? Is the US economic data going to be resolved soon? Shit. Oh, sorry. I mean, they're in, should I say that? They're in a government shutdown at the moment. It's been 3 weeks. It's been 3 weeks. Are they going to resolve it now and have better data? We have to catch up on data first. The first thing is to even catch up on data. So that's not going to be happening soon, right? Conflict resolution. Israel, Gaza have a treaty, have a agreement, but they're still threatening each other. Russia, Ukraine, I don't think that's going to be resolved soon or quickly because it's not just between Russia and Ukraine, it's the whole NATO movements. The trade war between the US and China is only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse um, because it's almost egotistical already. So I don't see that pushing down. So with that said, let me put in that one first. Oh no. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Then that's being pedantic. That's being annoying. I want to see that. Okay. So the likely scenario, what I'm looking for, either it's going to sit across and push up, or it's going to bounce, come down, retrace slightly, and push back up again. Okay, a little bit more upside on gold to come. Major key level would be that 4,400, nice round number. We've got a FIB projection level here at 44.17, so 44.20. That's not unreasonable. This is the previous high here at 44.42. This is the previous high here at 42.40. So whatever it does here, I want it to break above 42.40 first before I look for it to push up. Because if you're doing a swing trade, then like we said here, right? Those are the reasons. Where should I put it? Reasons for your swing trade. Stop loss is going to be a little bit wider. Your size is going to be, you should size down. Size small. Size down. That makes a lot more sense. Size down, and you're going to be waiting a little bit longer because it needs time to develop. Right? So I don't even think we're looking for that. I think that's the most reasonable kind of push towards 4,400. So someone in our community on Discord, when I was talking about 42.35 or 42.40, they said, why not 4,500? All right. Why not 4,500 up here? Let's take it one at a time. One level at a time, one resistance level at a time. 4,500 does have its space. About there. Right there. Right in the middle here. So you might test, push back, and then push back up again. But I think unless something is resolved, I think we're going to see 4,400. Maybe by the end of the week. Maybe by the end of the week. All right. I forgot. So we're going to switch over in our daily analysis. If you are not already a member, click that join button. I think it's available on iOS now and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, click on that, and then we'll get into our H1 kind of setup that we talk about here. And for other members, I think you switch over automatically. It's happened so far for the last 2 times. We'll see that happening shortly as well. So that's what we talked about. For the members, that would have hit a stop loss, that would have triggered, so that bounced, right? So we talked about the dollar pushing back down, staying within that range. Okay, so a couple of things to get through for today. I'm just waiting for that minute and for it to switch over. Look at that. You see something here? That. You see that on the Kiwi dollar H1 time frame. It looks like